So the Love University curriculum certainly involves a lot of hearing about God's love, but the curriculum also involves experiencing God's love, because as David pointed out, we learn how to love first of all and foremost by being loved, by experiencing love ourselves. John writes, we love because God first loved us. We love because God first loved us. We grow in our capacity to love as we grow in our understanding of how deeply and completely God loves us. Seeing and sensing and touching God's heart of love for us empowers us to share God's love with other people. So we're going to take a couple minutes to engage with God through our imaginations and experience God's loving gaze for us, upon us. Now, you may be here just knowing in your heart deeply how much God loves you and looking forward to seeing God's face of love for you. Or you may be here thinking, boy, when God looks at me, maybe what I expect is a look of anger, or maybe a look of disappointment, or maybe even when God sees me, it just feels like he's going, I don't care, meh. I guarantee you, and I want you to understand, that the God who sent Jesus to die and rise for us, every single moment is seeing you, and the look on God's face is one of delight and approval and absolute love. It's constant. Every moment, God is seeing us, and God is smiling and saying, that's my daughter. That's my son. That's the one I love. And so we're going to use our imaginations to experience God's constant loving gaze. Now, using our imaginations doesn't mean making stuff up, but rather it means seeing and feeling God's constant love for us now, which we know is real every moment, and which we know we'll experience continuously in paradise. So God gave us our imagination so that we can experience that now. It's not made up, it's real. So let's settle in and experience God's love right now. What I'd like for you to do is just take a moment and get comfortable. Sometimes it really helps to just have both feet on the floor and maybe your back straight against the back of the chair and your hands resting on your knees, whatever works for you. So take a moment, get comfortable, and then close your eyes. Using your imagination, see God gazing lovingly at you. God sees you, and the look on his face is one of pure delight and approval. In your mind's eye, see God looking at you like that right now. As you experience God's loving gaze, what are you thinking? What are you feeling? As God looks on you with love, what do you notice going on in your body? Now, imagine it yourself gazing back at God. What do you see? What is God like? Notice the expression on God's face. And as you gaze at God, what are you thinking? What are you feeling? As you look at God, what do you notice happening in your body? Now, imagine that as you are looking at God, God is looking back at you. What is God like now? Notice the expression on God's face. And as you and God look at each other, what are you thinking? What are you feeling? What are you noticing going on in your body? Now take some time and talk to God. Tell God about what you experienced during this time. And what does God say back to you? Okay, take a moment to stretch, and when you're ready, open your eyes.